If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Why make choices in your life based on judgments instead of on your awareness of what would create the life and living you desire? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is October the 14th. You are listening to Inspired Choices with Christine McIver. I'm in a really exciting, great mood. I have a phenomenal guest tonight, and the Blue Jays just won. Woo, woo! How does it get any better than that? I mean, talk about, having an athlete on your show and watching a tremendous athletic game right before the show. It's poetic. I'm telling you, it's poetic. I'm so excited about tonight's show. This man that we're going to have on is going to really open your eyes up to what else is truly possible in the world and how you can choose greater no matter what. I'm super, super excited. I have my guest, Tanner Gers, with me, and we are going to have an amazing call tonight. Before we get into that, I just want to touch base about last week. We had Living Your Roar with guest Dr. Lisa Cooney. That was a phenomenal show, and wow, Lisa was on. And she really does, these inspiring people that are changing the world with their knowing is really lighting me up. And I hope for all you listeners out there too, because you know what? Life can be really tough sometimes, but it doesn't have to keep you down. And this is what Inspired Choices is all about. So before we get into the show, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. If this is your first time joining, thank you so much. I am a possibilities coach, and I work with individuals and organizations to co-create what they know is possible and what is available in the universe. I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, a professionally trained coach, energy healer, radio show host, producer, and I am the owner of A2Zen.fm. How's it getting better than that? I love doing a lot of different things, and I have so much fun co-creating with people in the world. My programs assist you in bringing more possibilities to actualization. If you're ready to change things in your life, if you're ready to turn up your business, contact me. The first 5 minutes are always free. Just ask yourself, is now the time? You can connect with me at inspiredchoices.ca or email me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. So tonight, oh my goodness, choosing greater no matter what. How many people have challenges that they believe they cannot overcome? How many of us have fallen and feel like it is not possible to beyond the so-called limitation? No limitation has to define you or your choices. Life doesn't usually show up the way we think it will, right? But your life can continue forward and your desires fulfilled. Like Tanner, you can choose greater no matter what. So Tanner Gers, am I pronouncing your last name correctly, Tanner?
You're pronouncing it very lovely.
Excellent. Yay! That was Tanner, if you guys didn't know. Tanner is a professional author, professional speaker, U.S. Paralympian, host of the Athletic Summit, and has been featured in SportingNews.com, The Super Strength Show, Tucson Lifestyle Magazine, Wellness Force Radio, and other media outlets, and now A2Zen.fm. Tanner holds a degree in business, speaks for and consults corporate, educational, male and female clients for various performance goals, and has worked with disabled youth and adults throughout various organizations such as the Easter Seals, the Foundation for Blind Children, and Wounded Warriors. Tanner's mission is to help millions of people across the world achieve their true greatness with his gift for cultivating confidence, determination, and the will needed to achieve greatness in every life, regardless of circumstances. Next month, Tanner is launching round 2 of the Athlete Summit, and you can get all the details for this at theathletesummit.com. Welcome, 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 Tanner, to the show tonight.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I got to say, you guys are running a top-notch program over here, and I got to say, we got to add some more things to your resume. So at the top of the I'm very impressed. I'm so grateful to be here. So grateful.
Oh, how's it getting better than that? Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. I like to do lots of things, but why not, right? Like
right.
the more things you do, the more fun you can have. That's my world anyway. So I am
the potential.
Yeah, what else is possible there, right? So, Tanner, you're an amazing guy. You and I connected about a week ago. I don't even know. Time is irrelevant to me. But we connected a short while ago, and we had a great conversation. I had so much fun talking to you. And I really would like you to kind of paint the picture of what brought you to this moment today, and what had you actually become the man that you are, and the desires that stirred in you to change things in the world. So can you kind of let our listeners know that have no idea anything about you?
Yeah, what a great question. So I think every moment in my life has prepared me for this moment right now, and I think every moment prior to my accident where I lost my sight has prepared me for everything that's come thereafter. So I lost my sight in an auto accident back in 2004 where a tree came through my windshield and impaled me in the face. And so I lost sight out of my left eye immediately. And then 19 days later, I lost it through cranial pressure where my optic nerve just ended up atrophying. And, so what it really came down to was something my dad had said to me and really blew out my perspective on, when I was, really in a moment where I wanted to die, really in a moment where I thought my life was over, hopeless, meaningless, worthless.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was going to be my existence, that I was going to be one of those gimps in the corner that, came out for holidays. And, and he opened up my perspective to, choosing something greater and realizing the greatness inside me. And it was really up to me to achieve that. And so that's, what got me on, what lit the pilot, got my fire burning. And I've just been finding different ways to throw gas on top of that as I take each and every step, and helping others, maybe if they're at the point where they need to have their pilot lit, or if they need to have gasoline thrown on their fire, to help them get going. So
I really, really like that. So your accident, when you had your accident, you were 21, is that correct?
I was.
So what was the time period between when you had the accident and when your fire got lit again?
Well, so there was, that point with my dad, that was probably a couple months, not long. So my accident was March 28th, 2004. I got out of the hospital about Memorial Weekend of 2004. And then I was already enrolled in college in August of 2004, getting back into school. So,
wow.
So it was sometime between then and there. And, that was kind of tough because, I'm still going through massive amounts of surgeries. I still had 2 brain surgeries that I'm getting ready to handle. I'm in class with IV, like an IV pole, just rocking it,
You're just like, get out of my way. I'm not stopping.
Well, it's funny when you apologize in a movie theater. Is it okay if my IV pole is right here? Is that okay?
I love that. Can you see past his IV pole? I'm sorry, is it too fat? That's awesome, Tanner. That's awesome. So just so everybody knows, Tanner is blind, and the man's got capacities like you wouldn't believe, but he's not able to get the chat room text. So I'm going to be telling him the chat room text as it's appearing, so he can have the pleasure as well. And if you would like the pleasure of enjoying the chat room and playing and asking questions of Tanner and myself, please come over to adazen.fm, click on the chat room at the top of the bar, and come in and play, ask questions. We have so much fun in there. And Keisha, one of our amazing producers tonight, Tanner, has saying, holy moly, to what you've been doing. And I will not make remarks about an IV bag. So I don't know what that's all about, but we'll find out. No bag questions right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of bags.
Oh, she's saying being in the line of sight. Okay. Oh my God. So this is pretty amazing. So you reached deep down inside and you said, hell no, this is not going to define me. Is that right?
Yeah, and then to further answer your question, so as like moving forward, right? So I kind of grabbed life by the horns, but I was still detached. There was a period of time where, no one would speak to me in public. That really kind of had its damaging effects. And I really kind of felt distant, just kind of an outlier in terms of society. I ended up getting a guide dog, and that's a walking chick magnet. So that, kind of helps with social things. But, when I found out about sports for the blind, that was in 2008. I saw it on a sports news segment where they're talking about a blind baseball team in Tucson, Arizona, and I was like, what is that? And so the next weekend I was out there and stepping out on the field in something.
So wait a minute. You hear this on the TV, and the next weekend you're there.
Yeah. How can you?
What were you doing the other 6 days? Like what?
Oh well.
Go at the speed of light much, my friend?
Well, mind you, at the time, I'm gainfully employed full time. I'm a full time student. I recently had separated from a fiance, so I'd taken on a lot more responsibilities when, the house that we were living in, that was all on my shoulders. So, who's got the time? And you make the time. When you find something, see something that you desire, it is up to you to go get it.
Okay, I just want to marinate in that for a second, because that's really, I don't want to jump over that. That's a really, really important point right there. When something is important, when something is sparking in you, you make the time. I get a little tired, and I don't know about you, Tanner, but I get a little tired of people using excuses for not moving forward in their life. And yeah, I have a lot of caring and understanding, but sometimes it's like, would you please pull your head out of your ass and do something?
Sure.
Because I can't make that choice for you.
Right. And being honest and open and vulnerable, sometimes my head falls, 6 inches into my butt, and, I got to pull it, but it's up to me, right? I got to pull it back out of there.
Yeah.
And thank God I've got the support system that I do, with my mom. She is a trooper in helping me. It's like, why am I sad right now? Like, I have no reason to be sad. And then, she helps excavate my cranium from my colon, and and then it's full steam ahead.
I love that. We all need an excavator in our lives. That is brilliant. How lucky are you to have her in your life? Wow.
I'm so blessed.
That is fantastic. She was actually on a show as a guest last week with Sherry Taylor, and I had the pleasure of enjoying her as well, so I can totally see that she would be an inspiration for you. That's fantastic. So we are going to be going to break in just a couple of minutes, and before we do, I just want to let everybody know that if you would like to connect with Tanner and connect other people to him, like, lots of us know people out there who and I really get the sense that you working with youth and can be such an amazing contribution. So if you have teenagers, if you have young adults in your life that are, wandering about in their own heads, and you want someone that could maybe spark them and maybe throw a little gasoline on their lives, connect with Tanner. You can email him at creativesuccess@cox.net, that's COX.net, or you can connect with him at the website theathletesummit.com, and then he's on Twitter at Tanner Gers, Gers, and Instagram Tanner Gers. So definitely reach out to Tanner, talk to him, tell him how absolutely amazing he is, because I think he is, and I'm thrilled. And I can't wait to hear more about, what the next steps were for you as you really just said, I'm moving, let's go. And no matter what, even if I have to take my IV pole to the movies, I'm going. So
oh, wow.
You just don't know where you might see Tanner. So, Tanner, did you keep the dog? I'm sorry, I just never asked you the question.
Oh, you know what? We were, my mom, my aunt, and AJ, the guide dog, and I were all in a bad auto accident, a second one in 2006. This was right after I got that job, 2 years before I found out about blind baseball. And, he became unsafe to handle. My mom ended up having to have a total knee replacement. I had some spinal disc issues. My aunt had flash, and AJ flew from the back seat again and then flew forward through and into the dashboard. And, that really we didn't realize how traumatic it was for him. So we ended up having to retire him. And if you recall, I was working full-time, going to school full-time. So depending on the day of the week, Monday through Friday, I was going 12 to 15 hours, and that just wasn't fair to him. So I ended up adopting him out to a family.
Oh, that's good.
Tucson area. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you have other ways of being a chick magnet, so
I can put like a dog suit on my cane.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk to the comedian, Tanner Gers, and see what else is possible for moving past anything in your life. So you are listening to Inspired Choices Radio with Christine McIver on A to Zen.fm, and we will be right back. Hold on.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
It's body time. What would nurturing you and your body create in your life? Would you be willing to give yourself 30 days to find out? 4 live calls and receive direct to your inbox each day a video, process loop, or activity designed to contribute to you. It's body time. What will 30 days of nurturing create in your life? Begins October 15th. To find out more, go to doniellecarter.accessconsciousness.com, DONNIELLECCARTER.accessconsciousness.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is A2Zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome forward to this amazing call with my new friend, Tanner Gers, and we're talking about choosing greater no matter what. So, Tanner, we've got to the point where you're in school, you're working full-time, and now you've gotten out on that field about baseball. Please take us from there now.
Yeah, thank you. So, I was an athlete my whole life, and, when I was digging around in my closet back when I was recovering back at my parents' house, this was in 2004, I was reaching for something in there and found underneath a pile of clothes a piece of leather. And I was like, what the hell is this? And, I pulled it out, and instantly I knew what it was. And it was a baseball glove. And so I threw it on, and got really lit up, and pretended like I caught a ball and crow hopped and, like many kids do, dream about throwing that person out at home plate, and realized that, this was a point of reflection for me. And so I told myself that, and coming to terms with things. So I said, this part of your life is over. And so I put that back, and then 4 years later, when I had the chance to step out onto the field, it really just brought that sense of unification, team, being able to express myself in a way that I haven't been able to do for years, and without limitations, on a level playing field, where we're all equal. And I can be, no longer am I classified by my disability. I'm classified by, or I'm acknowledged by what I'm able to do, regardless of the circumstance. So that really was the first big piece of gasoline that was dropped on my fire.
That must have felt like, I don't know what it is to be where you are. Like, but I'm just imagining that it must have been like breathing life again on such an amazing, expansive space.
100%. So now so everybody, I'm imagining that everybody on here is sighted. So, and probably everybody on here has, either walked fast or ran or jogged. And, that was really my first time running, as a blind man. So, hitting the ball and running to the base was scary for the first time. But by the third time, my teammates knew that there was something special.
Wow. I mean, I love baseball. That was the one game. Baseball and soccer is what I played when I was growing up. And I'm, just coming off watching an amazing baseball game that was like ass-kicking. I can't even fathom what that is like, how you play baseball blinded and then running.
Yeah, and it's tough for anybody, for it to become tangible for anybody. Really, it is. And so what I highly recommend doing is, I am becoming, as I become more and more mature, and, with the initiatives that I am passionate about, especially with blind baseball and just supporting blind youth and adults, is go to the NBBA, National Beat Baseball Association, NBBA.org. You can see videos there. If you want to get involved, there's opportunities there. And, Christine, you should know that Team Canada was at the NBBA World Series 2015 for the first time, the brand new team, and they were there in Rochester, New York, this year representing your great nation.
Well, I should know, but I didn't.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with me? That's a big question. We need a second show for that, Tanner.
It's a completely different topic.
It's a completely different topic. What the hell is wrong with Christine? That would be fun. I could, maybe pull in a bunch of my exes, some of my relatives. We could have a real humdinger of a time.
That would quite the call-in. Quite the call-in.
Listen, bitch, I'll tell you what's wrong with you. Oh, hell. Keisha's saying an interesting point of view show. She says it sounds like a multi-part show. No kidding. Faith, yeah. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. So, okay. So you've now got this surge of excitement and possibilities running through you. Yeah. How long were you playing ball? And tell us where the baseball has taken you.
So that really helped me get, focused and motivated in my work and in my school. So, without coincidence, it drew me to perform better at where I was working, which was a call center, and, like 600-700 people there at any given moment. It's performance-based, and not only are pay increases and incentives allocated based on performance, but Employee of the Month is gifted or awarded based on that performance. And so out of, those hundreds of people, I was Employee of the Month twice. After, finding baseball, I ended up, studying finance. And that's kind of where, my path started to shift. And, I think baseball really gave me the confidence to make the changes, to put myself out there and do older, bigger things than the path most worn. So that's when I really started to get into walls and hurdles in finance, and that's where I kind of made a left-hand turn.
Okay, so now you've made the left-hand turn. Where are you going now?
So I didn't know. And, so I was trying all different types of stuff. So, blind guy opens mobile kitchen, hot dog truck. So
Wait a minute. Blind guy selling hot dogs out of a hot dog truck?
Mobile kitchen. Yeah.
Mobile kitchen. Tanner, seriously, man. You're a marketing genius.
Well, so that was kind of short-lived, for various reasons. But I was doing that. I was doing home-based stuff. I was doing manual therapy out of my home, and then I went back to school and started studying communications. I was also at this time studying performance and personal training. So I got my certified, got my CPD, got my certification as a personal trainer while I was also going back to school for communications. And that, I took a intro to speaking class, and I was like, whoa, like I want to do this. This is there's something inside me here.
Yeah. So tell us what was going on when you started to do the speaking.
Just touching the audience and conveying a message. And I think that is, no matter what avenue that anyone is on or what path they're on, being able to communicate your message is such a valuable skill. And it is a skill. I used to not be able to communicate as well as I can today. I could not write as well as I can today. And these are both skills that anybody can develop. It just, it takes hours and hours and hours and hours of practice. And again, it gets back to that whole desire thing. Like if you want something bad enough, like I wanted to communicate my message. I wanted to touch the world on a greater scale. I wanted to show what is possible, what else is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And through speech, putting myself out there on stage, again, it was like baseball where I wasn't this disabled person. I became this inspiring, motivational leader who people become fired up.
Right.
People, decide, hey, I can do that. I can do what it is that I've been wanting to do but been putting off.
Okay, so I've got a really weird, and I hope it comes out of my head properly. I got a really weird question for you.
Oh.
Are you ready? So a lot of people will look at someone who has a disability as you do, and I don't think of it as a disability, but to give it a name, just to put it in context for these 5 seconds. People will look at this and they will say, well, oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? And look at what he has done and all the rest of it. When do they go from, you're a special guy because of this, to seeing you as a strong being who's doing something great in the world, not being defined by the accident and the sight loss?
Yeah, that's, I think that comes down to the personal growth that has and is occurring with the person that's receiving the message. Because if they're unable to look beyond the fact that I can't look them in the eye, even though I am looking them in the eye, but they know that I'm not seeing them. If they can't look beyond that, then there's a lot of work that needs to be done standing in front of their mirror.
Right.
That's just reflective of their inability to see what is possible. And if they can't see what's possible for me, then how can they ever begin to see what's possible for themselves?
Right.
So I guess it really just depends on the person, and it also depends on especially in my relationships with people that have developed over time. I think it really gets down to just getting to know me as a person. Like, yeah, if I'm on stage or whatever, you see me competing or whatever it is, until they get to know me and know what I'm about, where I'm coming from, and where it's like, yeah, I've got this issue, but we all have issues. So,
mm-hmm.
Like, should I look at you differently because you're depressed? Should I look at you differently because you're OCD?
Gorgeous or
yeah,
gorgeous?
With something in my pants. No, just kidding. Should I look at you differently than with something in my pants?
Oh, good. Here we go. And the show starts. Okay, so we are going to go to break in just a minute, our second break. No, seriously, we are. I'm not just saying that. See, you're going to have to trust me because you can't see the prompts that the producers are putting up. Now, I could bring the producers on, but I do pay them, so they'll lie for me.
Yeah, well, I trust them.
Okay, so Rio says, blind guy doing life phenomenally. We have another, Keisha says, you are simply fucking amazing. And yes, we do swear on my show. And it's just, you know what, we're really loving this conversation with you, Tanner. And the way that you're seeing, I got to say before we go to break, I was watching one of your YouTubes. You've got a YouTube channel and you've got a lot of YouTube videos up there for people from an athletic perspective. But I saw one that I was listening to of you actually doing, I think it was a commencement speech.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 2-3 minutes in that I honestly didn't recall, or it was no longer present that you were blind.
Yeah. Yeah, I work really hard at that, yeah.
You know what? To me, that is one of the most amazing things about you and what you're doing. And after our conversation the other day, I know that that's what's going on for you, but, you know, I'm 5'2", so that's what's going on for me type of thing, you know? It's not this big definable thing. And I love that about what you're doing in your life. And I love that is how you're showing up. And that, to me, is phenomenal. So I'm really grateful for the contribution you're being in the world, and I hope all the listeners out there are getting what is really truly possible here. So we are going to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue this amazing conversation. I can't believe the show's half over, Tanner. Holy moly. Okay, so you are listening to Inspired Choices on A2Zen.fm. We're here with Tanner Gers, and when we get back, we're going to talk about more of the possibilities in your life beyond anything that takes place. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you, being you, are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is A2Zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hello again, everyone. You are listening to Inspired Choices, and we are talking about choosing greater no matter what with my guest, Tanner Gers. And Tanner is an amazing individual who has decided that he's not going to stop in his world. He is absolutely going to move beyond. Now, Tanner has got some amazing free gifts that he is going to be giving to all of our listeners. And Tanner, do you want me to go ahead and read this, or do you want to share it with them?
Oh, you know, I don't even remember if I had put what it is, but yeah, I'll share it with them. So, you know, I had published a bodyweight fitness program, a high-intensity bodyweight fitness program, and I want to offer that up to your listeners for free. Try to elicit some change in their bodies and their minds, and in their feelings about themselves with that. And if anybody is also interested in doing some consulting with me, whether that's with nutrition and fitness or it's with, you know, breaking or stepping into your greatness, you can always do that, and you can email me at creativesuccess@cox.net, and I will be more than happy to give you a substantial discount for you if you just mention the sexy Christine as your referrer.
How much do I owe you for that one?
Nothing. You don't owe me anything.
How's it get any best? Keisha calls me Mistress C.
Ooh, I love that. That sounds so official.
It's so official, really? I love it. So Keisha says, Tanner does not seem to let anything about him be what identifies him. Truly beautiful. And he is far more sighted than most people with or without the use of their eyes. I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Keisha. You know, the way that you see the world, and it was funny because I hesitated when you and I first talked because the word seeing came out of my mouth a great deal, but you do see the world, just not with the physical eye.
Yeah, you know, I still watch TV or go to see the movies, and, you know, but yeah, you know, you have to look within, right? And when you do look within, you know, that's when you can really start to open up your eyes to what's possible.
That's fantastic. So you're now you're out there and you're doing the baseball, and then you get this surge of starting to speak. Where has that taken you? Because people have some very interesting points of view when they look at people that are unique. So
yeah.
what were some of the greatest challenges that you faced in starting on this trail?
Okay, so I'm working on this. You know, personal development is a journey; it's never a destination. So, you know, I am working on not being such a perfectionist. I really like to be on the top. I want to be the best. I'm not the best. I want to be the greatest. I want to do things that have never been done before, and I want to do them to such a degree that they will never be achieved or accomplished before. And so, you know, with that being said, you know, I had my first big corporate speaking event after I got back from London as a U.S. Paralympian for track and field. And you know, I was practicing, and it's the night before. You know, I wrote up this speech, and you know, I'm thinking it's going to be like this, like boardroom, and so I just want to be at the top of my game, and it's just not coming. And then I say, you know what, I just need to put this down because I'm thinking about it too much. I'm in my head. You know, I'm just going to go there, and I'm going to crush this. It's done. And the reason I was having such a hard time is because I was trying to squeeze a 60-minute speech into 45 minutes. And I was sounding way too fast. I was sounding like I was trying to cram it in. And so, you know, I was really having a difficult time doing that. So I show up, and it's not a boardroom. As a matter of fact, it is the largest audience that I've spoken to thus far. It's like over 200 members of this team, of the sales and management team. And, you know, like, I'm not the only speaker there. Like, the United Way's there, and like the corporate nutritionist is there, and you know, the owner of this enterprise, you know, comes up and he sits down next to me. He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm doing really good." You know, he goes, "All right, well, you're getting ready to go on. You ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And he goes, "Well, we're running a little bit late. We're running behind schedule, and do you think you can wrap this up in about, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes?" And I was like, yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Done. And
what the hell?
Dude, I soiled that chair. No, I didn't soil that chair, but I'm scared shitless. I am so scared, and I'm like sweating, you know, feverishly, and so I get up there and I am shaking so bad because I'm so nervous that I just hope that they can't see me. And, you know, my mom is videotaping this. She's in the back of the room, you know, videotaping it. And so when it gets done, I get this massive standing ovation. And, you know, when we were watching the video, and I was done in 13 minutes. And when it was done, we were looking back over the tape. You know, my mom said, "This is so amazing, Tanner, because, you know, everybody stood up. They're clapping. It's so loud." And the owner is holding his hand up, like after a minute or after a few seconds, to try to like quiet everybody down. And they're just like, "No, hell no. We're clapping. We're clapping through this." So that speech is on my YouTube channel.
Is it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I definitely have to check that one out.
I think it's like, I don't know, it's like 2012, like sales team or, something like, if you search like Tanner Gers 2012 sales, motivational, anything along those lines, it should pop up in the top.
We'll find it. We'll get it on the page. We'll get it on the event page as well so people can see that. That'll be phenomenal. So you're out there, you're doing speeches, and you've got, if people have listened to my shows before, we've talked about this with Access Consciousness, humans and humanoids. Humanoids love to do 1,000 things simultaneously and get bored really, really fast. Mm-hmm. And they also have the quote-unquote disease of perfectionism. Self-judgment and perfectionism is rampant within us. But we also have this strong, never stop knowing that more is friggin' possible. Tanner, you're a humanoid on steroids, my friend.
I was just going to say, so it sounds like you're a humanoid too.
Yeah, you can call me that. So you are out there and you're starting to do this public speaking, and you're reaching out to people. What is the feedback you're getting from people? I know that people think you're amazing. That we already know. But what's the feedback you're getting from the people that are really, they really are at that wall. They've really hit that wall. And, do you ever get like, yeah, well, Tanner, that's easy for you, or any of that kind of crap?
Oh my gosh, so many like motivational talks are coming up in my head, like just the audience feedback. Two specifically. One was where it was definitely the best, most motivational speech of my life, and I hit that so far out of the park that I think it intimidated anybody. I had zero Q&A afterwards. And that was my best speech that I've ever delivered. Like, I crushed it. And I think that they were at a point in their life where they just felt like it was so inconceivable for them to even begin to accomplish the things that I was talking about, or at least the gains and improvement in their life that I was talking about. But most recently, a few weeks ago, I had it's when I was working for the Foundation for Blind Children. And so I give this talk and open it up for Q&A. And, one of the kids says, "I can't do what you do." And I said, "What's your name?" And he says, "I'm Anthony." And I said, "Hey, Anthony, why not, man? You can do everything that I can do." And he goes, "No, I can't, because I'm totally blind." And so when I first was blind, I was pretty upset when I went to Guide Dogs for the Blind, and out of 20 people there was me and one other person that needed a cane for mobility. And so 90% of the people didn't need a cane, and so I was fucking pissed. I was so fucking pissed because I was like, why do these blind people have like an accessory? Why are they exploiting the service animal for something that it shouldn't be used for? Like, this should be for blind people that need help getting around. And, that was when I was really angry.
Right.
But so I understood what he was talking about. And immediately I recognized that he is probably the only one, if there's any other one, that is totally blind. And here, besides me. So I said, "Anthony, I'm totally blind too, right? Remember when I said my auto accident?" And he goes, "You're totally blind?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm totally blind." And he goes, "Well, my back hurts." And I said, "Anthony, in my car accident, I had multiple spinal column fractures. I broke my back." And another kid goes, "Yeah, well, I had brain surgery." I was like, "Really?" I couldn't be more grateful for you teeing it up so high for me, because I've actually had 4 brain surgeries. And then so we go on. I end up having this dialogue with Anthony, and in the Q&A session. And by the end of it, I have these kids, all chanting, "I've got greatness. I've got greatness."
Oh my God!
So we break for lunch, right? And then we come back, and I'm also there playing beat kickball with them, which is like the young person's version of beat baseball, because beat baseball can be a dangerous sport. And the first one up to bat is Anthony. And that's when I knew that I, had impacted his life, and hopefully everybody else that was listening.
Okay, Tanner, you're not supposed to make me cry. Oh my God, my friend. Wow. That's that makes it all worth it. I mean, when you can touch someone's soul like that, when you can touch their very being, that they will reach for greater, that's all that it's really all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody was able to do that with Anthony, because this is a very positive environment. You know what I mean? There's not like really bullying going on there. You know, there's a lot of the teacher to student ratio is super, you know, low and or high on the teacher scale. But you know, no one was able to connect with him because he didn't feel like anybody was at his level. And when he realized that the person speaking to him was, that's when he looked inside himself and was like, holy crap, I can do more. And that's why he got up to bat.
That's phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. Time is absolutely flying. Tanner, tell me what is next for you. What's coming up in business? What's your next targets? Where are you going? And what's the next big thing that you're desiring to achieve?
So we got 15 minutes? No,
we've got 8 minutes.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, buddy, you got 3 minutes. Can you cut it down?
Oh, gosh. So, well, you know, I still love track and field. I love running fast. I love jumping and all that. But I recently fell into a new sport called track cycling. I was back into cycling, and then when I found out, like, what? You can do track cycling? You go really fast? What? It's on a track? And so I just got back from a training camp at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. I'm going to the national championships in December. Really turn some heads in prep for next year, 2016 Paralympic year. So World Championships will be in March. The qualifier for that will be in February. The games are going to be in September, and trials will be in June. And so I'm hoping to be a Paralympian. I am going to be a Paralympian in 2 sports, and that is my desire right now. So that's with on the athletic side, and it's my mission right now to make beat baseball a Paralympic sport. So I am shouldering that weight along with a few other awesome individuals in the NBVA, and then professionally with my work and such. We've got the Athlete Summit coming up, relaunching round 2. Very, very, very excited about that. I got about 30 presentations, and that event, that is all designed around helping athletes and coaches achieve greatness in sport and in life. And so, of course, we've got, you know, some phenomenal, like really phenomenal coaches pulling back the curtains on everything that they're doing. But then we've also got, you know, athletes that are sharing what it takes to go to the next level. So we have, you know, like Steve Young from the San Francisco 49ers, Hall of Fame, NFL quarterback, Super Bowl MVP. We've got Brad Snyder. He is a U.S. naval officer that stepped on a improvised explosive device in September, I believe it was September 7th, 2011. 365 days later, he's winning a gold medal in the Paralympics as a swimmer.
What?
Yep. So we've got athletes like that, you know, like sharing, you know, with the people that want to live their dreams, how they may want to choose to live so that they can achieve dreams.
That is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. So Tanner, are you married? Do you have children? Like, tell us a little bit about your personal life besides your amazing mother in your life.
That's the only one left. No, yes, I am married, no kids, and living in Phoenix, Arizona right now. Been here about 14 months. Tucson was just too small. I had to get out of there and get to a little bit bigger of a city, so we compromised on Phoenix. And I'm just also part-time underwear model. Doing a little bit of that, Playgirl keeps calling me. Like, I tell them to do that.
Damn.
So, you know,
I'm busy. I can't. Sorry, girls. I can't. Right?
And I would be on the cover of GQ. It's just there's the time commitment. I just don't have it.
Tanner, your disposition in life has got to be such a huge contribution to moving beyond. And I'm sure that there are days that maybe sometimes you hit the wall, like we all hit the wall. And I just want you to know that you just created some huge fans in the people that are in the chat room for sure. And I know our listeners out there will be completely blown away as well. And I'm very, very grateful for the contribution that you've been tonight in my world and into everybody's world that are listening and participating. You know, it takes one step at a time to change the world. And as we continue to do that, each and every one of us, we make a contribution to each other. You know, we're all connected. We are in the community of we. And I am grateful for you joining me tonight and, you know, for not stopping. Just for not stopping. And so if you ever have moments where you want to stop, Tanner, I just want you to think of the Crazy Chicks on A to Zen and come back and play with us, because we would love to have you playing with us all the time and, you know, even regularly. What would it take?
Christine, I would love to play with you and all the girls at A to Zen on a regular basis.
Rioa just said he should have his own show. That's a great idea. Have you ever thought of having your own radio show, Tanner?
You know, we should think about that. I mean, who would have thought that would be, what else is possible?
What else is possible? Tanner, if there's one thing that you could, what were you, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was telling your listener, thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome. So Keisha says, "Oh, the rumors we could start."
Oh, there's already so many. Oh my gosh.
Tanner, what's the one thing that you would say to a young individual, whether they're young in age or young in a journey that's having them hit the wall? What's the one thing that you would say to them to be a contribution to them?
Wow. One thing, you know, at least for me in my own experience, is that sometimes when I'm about to make a big leap forward, things get really fucking crazy. Really.
Amen.
Crazy. And that might manifest itself physically. You might get sick. You might be having those voices just obnoxiously loud, telling you, no, you can't do it. Why are you doing this? This is stupid. Financially, things might get difficult. And one thing that I've learned too is that, or before I move on to that, is that, you know, just pushing through, just keep pushing. Now, there's a point at which it feels heavy and you don't love what you're doing. I might consider looking at something parallel or along the lines or something that makes you happy. But if when you go to bed and you're so exhausted because you got your side hustle at night and you're doing your best to get out of that 9-to-5 rat race, if you go to bed or get off, if you get off work excited that you have the chance to pursue your dreams, then you're doing the right thing, no matter how hard it gets. So keep pushing. And if you
Tanner,
go ahead.
You are amazing. We're just about out of time. Thank you so very much to all of my listeners out there. If you would like to connect with Tanner, please do connect with him at creativesuccess@cox.net. If you would like to connect with me and what I'm doing in the world, I'm off to Sudbury, Northern Ontario this weekend to doing a Foundation Level 1 class with Access Consciousness. I'm going to be doing that throughout Ontario over the next couple of months. I would love to see you there if you're looking to change the possibilities in your life. These are amazing classes, and I'm happy to fly anywhere in the world to share these classes with individuals. Tanner, please keep rocking the world. The world needs more of you showing up and more of everyone out there showing up. If you have a message, if you would like to share that on the show, connect with me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. And if you've ever thought about having your own radio show, let's talk about that, because you know what? The world needs more possibilities. Have an amazing week, and remember, you can always make another choice.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a2zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.